out. There we go. Now I'll get it on the right microphone. Hopefully. Right. Hey. Oh, look, I can move this around on the gimbal. That's the shot I want. Look, this all fell down in the storm. We didn't fall down. It was leaning, and so I had to cut it. It's halfway down the hill. It's not that far. But I'm going to put it in this wheelbarrow. And I fancied some company while I do it. So if you want to watch a middle-aged man move some logs uphill, you are in the right place. Hopefully. One of the ideas is I've got a microphone right on the top of my hat, which should mean that even when I walk all the way down here, you should still all be able to hear what I'm chatting about. Start up here. If you can hear me when I'm at the bottom of the hill, just drop me a comment and let me know that you can hear me, because that would be absolutely brilliant to know. Let's see if I can play with some of these settings. So if I do that and I press up here, now can I open different? The link has still, there we go. We're still going, which is grand. I think the feed might have dropped out a little bit when I was pressing the other apps, but I don't know because I've never done this before. The annoying thing about these logs is when I fell big logs now, what I've started doing is marking them every foot, just with a chainsaw, just with a little notch. Let me see if I can see it. So look, I put these little notches in logs as I'm going along, and it partly helps me when I come to cut it as firewood, but also gives me a sense when I am cutting up the whole trunk, because obviously when it falls down it's like, 5, 6, 7 meters long. So I put a mark every sort of 30 centimeters, and then when I come back to cut like this, I just cut every sort of 3 or 4 marks, and it means I know that the pieces I'm stacking are roughly, I don't know if you can see it from all the way up there, but roughly these all ended up the same length. Now, they didn't end up the same weight because 30 centimeters of wood, when the diameter of it, when the width on it is, 10, 15 centimeters, is a significantly different weight to when it's, 25, 30 centimeters across. So while all these logs are the same length, it does, when I pick each one up, they are varying weights. I've been recording what I'm getting up to this morning, and I've recorded. Oh, can I see the cuts on it, the comments? I don't know. Been recording today what I get up to. So I've recorded myself in the gym already this morning, doing some deadlifting. Oh look, this piece has got a lovely handle. I like when pieces have a handle. Gives me a change. Oh, if you can, if you're watching this, I'm hopefully using this microphone here on my hat, which should mean that you should still be able to hear me just as clearly when I get down to the bottom of the hill. So if you can hear me all the way down here, if you could drop me a comment and just go like, yes, we can hear you, that would be great to know whether this setup is working, because I genuinely have no idea. I could just be talking into nowhere. Now, here's the predicament I've got to. I was going to move this, take the wheelbarrow across, but now that I think about it, I will have to move all of the camera if I want to start moving this. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the wheelbarrow slightly out of shot, and I'm going to carry on bringing all of those up so that I can restack it in a minute. Let me have a go at this. So let me move. Oh my god, that's heavy. Oh, that could be an error. That could be an error. Now, as I've moved a few logs, I'm going to... doesn't take me long, right? This is why I'm in shorts, because I overheat so fast. So, I'm not going to take my jumper off. Right, this isn't that kind of live stream, alright? So I'm going to go over here and take my jumper off, and then come back. But the microphone will still be going. So you can imagine what it looks like. Oh, my shirt's ridden all the way up. Just imagine. Can you imagine, guys? Oh, there's more abs than people know what to do with. The squirrels are gasping. Oh my god. Okay, I'm back. And I can put these gloves back on. So, here's the plan. Keep moving those logs from down there to up here. Drop me a comment, chat. Let's see what's going on. What are you doing? Why are you watching YouTube in the middle of the day? I'm genuinely curious about what's going on. Oh, there's two trees here. One of them was covered in, interesting, one of them covered in ivy and one of them was covered in moss. And I'm wondering whether one stopped the other from growing, you know, because they were next to each other down here. So I'm wondering whether either the moss or the ivy growing first has stopped the other from growing. I'm guessing that they might stop each other from, I don't know, gripping onto the tree. Who knows? Who knows? Not me. But someone will know. Right. Oh, this is gonna be a dance one. Big lift. There we go. I reckon these heavier ones are maybe 25, 30, 40 kilos. No, not 40 kilos. 25, 30, which is not super heavy. But as with anything real world, the shape of it is an absolute pig. 25 kilos. It's not a lot of weight, but 25 kilos spread out like this. It's a huge amount of stabilizing. Oh, this one's way lighter. This one's maybe 15. There we go. Ooh, I don't know if you could hear that lovely wood noise. Right, let's drop on this. Have a look. Okay. What's this magic filter? Oh, I've got retouch on now. I don't like that. Look at my face. Look. There's a craggly old man. There's a smooth Instagram. No, we're not having that on. That's disgusting. Right. Let's keep going. Moving these logs. Oh, sensory hell, 'cause there's bark down my shirt. Sensory hell. It's itchy, but it doesn't hurt. Sensory hell. Oh, you gotta know. Sensory hell. There's sawdust down my shirt. I don't know if it's the same feeling, but I have always been someone. So my dad's a barber, and I've always had the privilege of being able to have my hair cut essentially in my house as a kid, which is great. But one of the things that I think was missed and wasn't quite picked up, maybe, oh god, that's a heavy one, was I very much need to shower within 2 or 3 minutes of having a haircut, especially when you've got short hair and you've got all these little things. Oh, hey, Hey, from Iran. Here we go, watching somebody move wood. Who knows why? Yeah, so my dad used to cut my hair when I was a kid, and I would go and jump in the shower straight away. And then I've always kind of done that. I think some people can have a haircut and then not immediately have a shower, but I fully don't understand that. Do not understand how you can deal with the feeling of short, spiky hairs in your shirt. Oh, the pile is growing. The pile up here is growing. So I reckon it's like 4, maybe 5 more, and then we'll relocate because I'm gonna have to move the wheelbarrow. So let's keep going. No rest. No rest. Oh my days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 left. 5 left. So who else do that thing? Anyone that goes to the gym or does exercises where whatever number of reps you've got left, or time, you start doing all this weird, it's like calculations as you're exercising to make yourself feel better. So you start going like, if I do 1 more, I'll be halfway to halfway. Or if I do, you know what, I've only got 2 more, and that now I've done a third of it, and I'm halfway through the sets. You're just really breaking down, just trying to find any fraction that you can to make yourself feel better about exercising. Make yourself feel like you're making progress. It's quite a interesting thing to do. Sometimes I imagine if you had the ability to read minds, like you could hear their thoughts. If you went into a gym, you'd see some of the biggest people around, but what you'd hear would sound exactly the same as if you went into like an early years classroom. It's just a load of people going 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's enough. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You know, people in the gym and toddlers in the classroom, both, struggling to count past. I mean, if you do training like me, struggling to count past like 5, any more than 5 is cardio. Not on board with these sets of 12, sets of 30. It's not my bag. Also, I get bored. Can't do the same thing. Actually, I think, do you know what? I think it is a skill that I haven't developed yet. Which is, if I feel a weight, like a deadlift, I can feel that weight and I can get a pretty good gauge of whether that's 4 reps or 5 reps. If you start doing sets of like 30, the weight at the start has to be so nothingy. And I cannot judge. Oh look, there's loads of ivy on that. Check that. Oh look, let's talk about nature for a minute. So, lots of people are anti-ivy because they think that it strangles trees. They think that it's bad. It's actually great for the wildlife. Ivy berries are one of the first berries that come out in the late winter, early spring. So they are one of the things that keeps the bird populations going. So if you cut back all your ivy, and there's no berries for the birds. And also, in terms of them strangling the trees, it's absolute bunk. Absolute bunk. There's no evidence to that. What they do is they don't drop their leaves in the winter. So if you've got a particularly deciduous tree with a big canopy, like an oak or something, in the winter, one of the reasons that they drop their leaves, or one of the benefits I should say, it's not a reason, one of the benefits of dropping their leaves is that they reduce their profile in the wind, which means that they are more aerodynamic. But ivy don't do that. So you can have quite big trees that will sometimes get blown over, not because the canopy was up, because the canopy will have dropped, but because the ivy is providing this constant sail to catch the wind. So let's go see how this works. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to be able to use my microphone at this distance. So let's have a look. If I hold you up like that, oh look, it's on the gimbal, so it's all spinning round. Come back, point at my face. That's it. No, point at my face. Oh, this is right. Point down at my face. That's the important bit. That's the money maker. That's why everyone's here. No. Oh my God. Turn around to my face. Ah! There's my face. You can see my face. Oh, mic's dropped out. Do you know what? Maybe this isn't the one. Maybe this isn't the one. Oh, let's set you up here just for a second, because I reckon if I set you up here and look, if I do, using all the motors now, I've had to retrain myself that the gimbal points the direction I think, but now I'm using the front facing camera, it doesn't point the way that I think. Right, I'm gonna go get the wheelbarrow and then maybe move the logs a little bit more. Maybe I'll dump the logs here. That's it, maybe we're gonna do that. I think we're gonna do it in sections so that I can keep chatting to you guys. Armagh, where's Armagh? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you if that is a country or a city. Maybe it's in America and it's one of those American things where they kind of just tell you the state, or they assume everybody knows where their particular city or state is. I don't know where the states are. So I'm now wandering quite far away, and I am interested to know if the microphone has held up. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Right, let's try and pick this wheelbarrow up. Okay. Oh, it hit it. Oh, I hit a tree root right away. Okay. Now cooking. Now, oh, the wheelbarrow's gone. I've just thrown all my logs down the hill. I have no idea if you can see me all the way over here, but my wheelbarrow's gone. Do you know what? I think I really pushed it. Trying to take the wheelbarrow that far into the hill. And actually, I should have kept the wheelbarrow up here. So let's bring the camera back, because Lewis has learnt his lesson about trying to use the wheelbarrow on a hill. So I've literally just thrown a whole wheelbarrow full of logs. Microphone's working the whole time. Oh, there we go. Right, I've just thrown an absolute monster pile of logs. Thankfully, not all the way down the hill. Now, where's that pointing? I want to point you this way very slightly. There you go. When I first got the woods, we cut these like log rounds that were like for seating and stuff. And it didn't take long before it became a fun game for the kids here, because they would thoroughly enjoy essentially bowling, pushing absolutely enormous. And I mean, I'm talking like this kind of width, this kind of height, you know, like a stump that you would go, oh, that's a good sitting stump. They would push them all the way down the hill. And then, because we didn't have loads, that was then one of my jobs to Oh, there you go. To bring them back up the hill. It's one of the interesting things about having a hill is it really pushes your calculations, let's say, about effort moving trees, which is probably quite good for the woodland, because I think if I'd bought an entirely flat woods, I would have been tempted to get a little electric ATV or something, and you know, I would have zipped around, I would have moved stuff from place to place. But having the hill means that that's just not an option, and so there's quite a lot of stuff that goes to the bottom of the hill, or you know, if trees fall and they're trees lower than the bottom half of the hill, they just stay there. They just belong to the woods. That's the deal. If I can be bothered to get it up the hill, it's mine. If I can't, it belongs to the woods. And I think that's a pretty good deal, to be honest. Because one of the big things that is super damaging to woodlands is people that absolutely strip them. And I don't mean strip like come through and clear cut. I mean strip things like when a tree falls, absolutely logging every single inch of it into firewood and using the brash to make faggots for fire lighting, and you know, all of that. Oh god, that's a big one. All of that stuff. Now, in some ways, people might see that as being very efficient because they're using the whole tree, they're getting the most out of it. But, and not to get all communist for a minute, you're not the only one that needs that tree. There is a whole ecosystem, a whole community here that needs this tree. And a little bit like a shared meal, when we check on each other's plates, we check to see if they have enough, not to see if they have as much. And I think if we take a whole tree and absolutely log it all the way, then we're quite selfish and not quite considering, you know, the all the other guys that live in here, all the other folks. They're all using the trees as well, and some of them can only use the trees when they've been felled. Some of them can't use it when they're standing, and they're just waiting, you know, certain fungi, certain beetles, certain animals that need little habitats. They are waiting for trees to fall. And humans have got so efficient that we see the you know, when a tree dies, I don't necessarily like using that word. I go for retired, right? I like going for retired because it's retired implies that they're still doing stuff. They are no longer actively growing. However, through fungal networks, they can still be providing sugar to other trees in the woods through, you know, providing a habitat to other creatures in the woods. They're still doing stuff, so retired. But a lot of human lenses are like, once the tree is dead, retired, that's the end. It is now not doing anything, and so people feel okay about logging every inch of it, taking it for their own purposes, only benefiting themselves with it. Whereas I think there's a lot to be said for acknowledging that some of that tree, you know, was for the rest of the woods. It was for other little bits. Oh, the microphone's working the whole time. That's good, because I've been waffling for some time. It looks very cool as well. There you go. Do you know what? So I tried putting it here, and if you can believe it, all that I got was Beard Russell, who might be a character that I embody at some point. Hello, I'm Beard Russell. Beard Russell is a renowned Twitcher character that I've just invented. And Beard Russell, he's got the biggest beard and he can rustle it in a way that mimics British and East Asian birds, not West Asian. There's a gap in the middle in all the stands and the Kurdistans and all of that region, and he cannot do the birds from that region, but he can use his beard to do European birds and East Asian birds, and he does quite well. It's more of a party trick for Beard Russell rather than a career. What am I doing? What are you doing, Lewis? You're in the woods, knocking about on your own, making up absolute rubbish about a guy called Beard Russell because you said it and it sounded like a name. That's all that was. You didn't need to do that. You could have just kept talking. You could have done something valuable, Lewis. You could have kept talking about ecosystems. But no, you decided to talk about Beard Russell. That's good. That's giving people value, isn't it? Just absolutely wasting everybody's time. Oh, now, this is where the microphone is very interesting. It's very interesting to be able to whisper stuff and have people still hear it. And for some reason, there's still some of you watching it, which is grand. So, I'm going to keep moving these trees. I think I'm going to move the logs to here and then call it a day on the live stream. I appreciate people coming to watch. I think I might try and do a few more as we go. As we go on. I'm filming a vlog. Oh my god, that's a heavy one. Jesus. I'm filming a vlog video today. So there will be more content from my day coming on this channel. This one's an absolute behemoth. Do you know what I think was? I think one of these trees was already dead and one wasn't. And I think that might be actually why some of this is so heavy and some of this is bone dry. But the colour on them, of the tone of the wood, is so similar. It's quite hard to tell until you start trying to pick it up. Now you can decide if these are strong man noises or old man noises, or if they are both. God, that's a girthy one. Oh! This is about as wide as my wingspan can go. I did some strongman competitions in the mate, housekeeping always needs doing all of the time. When I was a teacher, I really struggled with keeping a classroom tidy, and the classroom was, I mean, depressingly maybe like 7 meters by 5 meters, and I could not keep that thing tidy for the life of me. And now my classroom is 3 acres. I just got no chance. I've got no chance of keeping that tidy, have I? The amount of energy mentally that it takes. You finish a session, you finish an 8-hour day in the woods, looking after people, and I love it, right? Don't get me wrong, but I am drained at the end of the day. The idea of essentially doing like a 20-minute hike around the woods, picking stuff up, looking for stuff. Oh, it's such a big ask. It's just not going to happen. And again, it is interesting how that changes your views. When I was a teacher, one of the things that someone told me to try and, I'm going to say, make me tidy. I said, oh, if there's a place for everything, everything will have a place. Mate, I feel you. What's the thing? Untidy desk, untidy mind. What does an empty desk say? It's just, you know. But someone tried to say, there's a place for everything. Everything's got a place. But I don't think that's true. I think that is true if you don't work with children, or if you are completely non-reactive to things going on. If you know what your lesson plan is and you deliver your lesson plan, then you can absolutely get out the resources you need, and you can plan for how much time it will take to put those resources away at the end. And maybe you opened up 3 drawers, so you know the 3 pieces of equipment you've got to collect out and put away at the end. But if you are reactive and reflective, and you are spending the day meeting people's needs and going, oh, I know how I could possibly extend that play for you. Oh, I could see you've asked me for that resource. Oh, you could do. Then essentially what I've got is every participant here is running their own lesson and getting their own resources out. And so I think the idea that you can keep a session tidy probably tells me something about, ready, 1, 2, 3, tells me something about your delivery style and how reactive you are, how adaptive your session and your planning is. And so if you know, oh, we need the scissors and a saw today, and at the end of the session all you've got out is the scissors and a saw, okay, maybe you could see that was good planning. But I'm inclined to believe that other people had ideas, that there were opportunities that weren't taken up. And so, yeah, sometimes stuff gets left around in my woods. And yet, sometimes tidying is not my top priority. But the counter to that is that people that come to the sessions know that they have the ability and the autonomy to use and move resources around. I think there's something else as well, isn't there, which is like, you know, whose benefit is it for? What's the balance of those things where it's like, take mud kitchen stuff, for example. Now, I know some places would have a stuff that is like, the mud kitchen stuff stays here and it can only go in this kind of 2 meter square area. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to consider your own needs. Absolutely you should. It should be a balance. But I think if all of the balances tip towards the only reason the mud kitchen stuff has to stay there is because it makes the leader's life easier, and you start this kind of wedge argument of like, well, yeah, but it'd also be easier if the kids didn't tell you their ideas. It'd also be easier if everyone stuck to the plan that you came up with. Oh, and it'd also be easier if you kind of took it inside, because then you wouldn't have to worry about the weather changing. Oh, and it'd also be easier, you know, if you, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, risk of the mud kitchen stuff going out is just, to me personally, there's longer for me to tidy up, or I have to acknowledge that the place is not as tidy as I would like it to be. Maybe. But benefits to individuals being able to move saucepans, you know, cutlery, things to new play spaces is monumental. Absolutely monumental. It's a thing I've always felt when people bring, it's normally younger kids, and they bring, sometimes it's a comfort toy, right? Sometimes it's like, I'm going everywhere with this doll or with this kind of puppy dog toy, and it's just a comfort thing. Okay, cool. And then sometimes kids will bring stuff like plastic lightsabers or like building blocks. And I know some places that are like no outside toys, but somebody bringing an outside toy to the sessions, as long as it does not significantly change the vibe of what's going on, i.e. you want to bring like, I don't know, replica medieval weapons that are made of real steel, and that presents a real challenge, then we might have to think about it. But if it is like, you know, plastic lightsaber or a knight's helmet or a little plastic hammer, what that tells me is that when they're not here, they have had the thought of like creating their own play. You want to talk about people being autonomous. Someone has said, you know, a little 3-year-old has sat at home, picked up a toy and gone, I know where I want to play with this. And they've imagined playing with it in the woods. So there's huge things there, which is like, they feel safe here. This is a space where they imagine play happening. You know, they have like pre-planned a thing. They are not just like reactively, you know, living in the moment. So if somebody wants to bring something, then I'm kind of all for it, because that is such a huge step. In the same way that, like, you know, people take stuff to their office and decorate their desk. People, you know, want to take little trinkets with them on keychains. Those are little things that you want to take with you, and you imagine having them in different spaces and go, oh yeah, I would feel more happy in that space with that thing. Or you know, you imagine taking something because you want to sit and put your headphones on and do your mindfulness in your lunch break. You know, that's a thing you're pre-planning, isn't it? And the kids are just doing the same thing. It's just a toy monster truck instead of a, you know, headphone app and headphones and like the Headspace app. Anyway, I've moved all the logs. Thank you very much for people that have joined me. Have a look at the rest of the YouTube channel. We do loads of podcasts. And keep an eye out, because I'm doing a daily vlog and that'll be going up on the channel later. Cool. See ya. How do I end this? Oh, get ready to be shaken while I push all the buttons.